G'day people, I'm Sharyn and welcome. Today I want to explain to you how to set up a USB so that your Janome or Elna sewing machine knows where to look and find the designs that you've put on the USB. For the computer literate amongst you, basically you need to put a folder called EMB into the first directory. So you don't have to go looking down a tube of other folders to get to it. You need it to be at the top. Inside that you put folders of designs. Name those folders so that you know where to go to find your designs. I wouldn't recommend you put more than about 100 designs in a folder, but make sure there's somewhere you can find them again. You do not need to have an EMBF folder, just the EMB one, and then put the other folders of designs in there. It is preferable not to have designs that are not in a folder. For those of you who are not computer literate or feel you need your hand held a bit more, let's get going. The first thing I want to show you today is this USB. This is the one that I formatted on Elna's 550E in the settings video. I put it into settings, I found the thing that said format and I formatted it, and it took about 28 seconds. I think it was very, very, very long-winded. I'm going to show you now what the machine put onto it. And there it is. There's my USB. On it there is a folder called EMB. If I go inside that folder, there is another folder called EMBF. That's it. It took the sewing machine 28 seconds to put 2 folders on there. There is absolutely no secret sauce to doing this. The EMB folder that the sewing machine puts on there is no different to an EMB folder that you can put on there with your computer. Just do it yourself, it'll be a lot faster. I go up a level, back to EMB, so we're at the top level of the USB. Now I'm going to show you this USB. This one I formatted on my friend Catherine's Janome CM17, which is the current top of the line machine. It's a huge machine and it does both embroidery and regular sewing. So let's see what this one did when it was formatted. Here it is, I'll just move it over. You can see there are 2 folders here. There's one called EMB and there's one inside it called EMBF. So that's exactly the same as the one from the 550E. Let's go up a level. This ORD folder, when I go inside it, there's one called ORDF. It's empty. So that is slightly different, but not all that different. It's just saying ORD instead of EMB. What's the difference? On this one, I'm looking at an embroidery only machine. On this one, it's a machine that does both embroidery and ordinary sewing. Even if you've got one of the machines that does the ordinary sewing, I can almost guarantee that you will never save anything onto this ORD folder. You just won't. It's not the way that sewing works. Let's carry on. Your sewing machine will decide whether it's going to dump you inside the EMB folder if you're in an embroidery only machine, or whether it should dump you in the EMB folder or the ORD folder if you've got a machine that does both, depending which mode you're in. So if you're in the embroidery section of your machine, it will dump you into EMB. If you're in the ordinary sewing, it will dump you into ORD. So if you're looking for designs on your machine and you're in ordinary sewing mode, they're not going to show up. I'll close off this one for the time being because basically the ORD doesn't do anything particularly much for us. And now I'm just going to look at this. Now let's have a look at what you do to get designs off the internet and onto your USB in a place where your machine can read them. I'm going to come down to the bottom where these folders are and I'm going to right click and tell the computer to open a new file explorer. So there's the one that I already have, my Lexar USB, and over here, downloads. These are the 3 design sets that I make, and we're going to start with the 100 design set. But you'll notice there's a little zip on each folder, and that means I compressed the items into that folder so they were easier to send to you. I need to extract them now, so I'm going to highlight the one that I want to do and then right click on it, and I get a thing here that says extract all. So that's what I want to do. I'm going to extract stuff from a zipped folder. Now my choices are to put it back where it already was in downloads, find somewhere else on my computer to put it, or in this case I'm going to put it directly onto the USB that I want it for in my machine. I would recommend you also save them somewhere on your computer, that you know where you can go back to them. Very important to be able to save things and find them again. In order for me to specify where I'm going to put it, I go to Browse, and I'm looking for the Lexar USB. I'm going into the EMB folder, and that will do. I don't want to go any further. We will select that folder. That's where it's going to go, and then I just go extract. You can see there are 506 items in there. That's because there are folders and there are 100 designs, each in 5 sizes. I'm going to close this because we've already got it open here, and double click on it, and there they are. So the EMBF folder was the one that was already there, and the computer has just extracted the 14 centimetre designs, the 17 centimetre designs, the 20, 23, 28s, and also the catalogue. Now there's a little bit of a problem with this. I do want to know that they are those sizes, but that's not going to give me a lot of information about what designs are in them. I need a better name. So I'm going to, here at 14 centimetres, I'm going to click on it a couple of times, and that's going to give me the 14 centimetres highlighted. Then if I click after that, I can do a space 100 design set. Whoops. And I put an extra N in there so I can come back in here and get that out. I'm going to put that same 100 design set onto each of these folders. Let's have a look at this catalogue while we're here. It's a PDF and it's photographs of each design, so you can see what they look like and use that to choose which design you would like to stitch. It could be worthwhile you're printing that out. If you remember what I said when I was doing my little piece about the USB, you'll know that your sewing machine cannot show that catalogue. It does not have any program on it that tells it how to read a PDF. So even though it's sitting there, you won't be able to see it on your machine. You can only see it on your computer. Now I'm going to do the same with the sashing set. So I'm going to right click, extract all. I need to tell it where I want it to go, browse. It's picked up the same folder that it did last time because it sort of worked out, well, maybe she wants to put it back there. In fact I do, so I'm going to select the folder. It usually says show extracted files when complete. I'll let it do that, extract. But if we have a look here now, it's only actually brought up 14, 17, 28. Surely there are supposed to be another 5 folders in there like there were with the other ones. We'll just go up a level and then down in there again, and they are all in fact there. The computer just wasn't showing them to me. So now I'm going to rename these with sashing set. Once again, I have a new sashing catalogue. Shows me what they all look like, but that won't show up on the machine. You can see it on your computer, but you can't see it on your machine. Finally, the frames. I left click on it, then right click, extract all, browse. It already knows approximately where I want to go, and it's actually right, so we select that folder and then extract. Once again, it hasn't shown them all here. We'll go up and then back in, and they're all there. So I will now do my little put all the proper names in, and you can see that I would have had 3 folders called 14 centimetres. That's useless to me. Computers can't handle having 3 folders all with the same name, so they definitely want different names. In fact, the computer would have deleted the previous folder called 14 centimetres and put a new one in its spot, so you really do have to rename the files. It is important to have them named with something that means you can find things later. And finally, a quick look at the frames catalogue. Shows you what they all look like. If, by the way, your computer doesn't show them when you double click on them, what you might need to do is right click on a catalogue and say open with, and use whichever is the appropriate program in your computer. It will probably be Microsoft Edge. We have now got all of those designs onto a USB, and it can be plugged in to the machine. If you put designs onto a USB like this, any Janome or Elna embroidery machine, since the time around about I think when they started putting USBs onto the machines, so about the time of the 11,000, maybe even the 350E, all of the machines since then will be able to use this. If you put folders within folders and put your designs in random places on a USB, you may be able to find them. This way you will. I like to describe the machines as being a really stupid office assistant. And one of the ways to look at this, if we go back to my computer, turn that one off. This is my folder with all of my designs in it. And if we go up a level, that EMB folder there, that is what the machine dumps you in. So if you're in embroidery mode in any of the Janome or Elna embroidery machines, and you ask to look on a USB, it will dump you inside this EMB folder, and that's where we just put everything. Now if I go in to any of these sets of designs, you can see they're just .jef things, but your machine can read .jef things. Something to remember, your sewing machine cannot read PDFs or documents or many other things. Your computer will not be able to read sewing files unless it has a program on it that allows it to. This particular computer of mine does not have any programs on it that allow it to actually read Jef designs. Therefore, all it does is tell me there's something on there and it ends in .jef, but I don't really know what it is. So my computer can't read them, but my sewing machine can. That is one of the reasons that I give you a catalogue with things, because I know you can't look at the designs on your computer. You can look at the catalogue on your computer, but you can't look at the designs. On your sewing machine, You can look at the designs, but you can't see the catalogue. If you've learned something today about your Janome or Elna machine, please give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.